Hey America, visit our sponsor EarthEasy.com right now. Click that link below and check out the LifeStraw, your ultimate personal, portable water filtration system in the event of a crisis or casual use. Click that link below, that's EarthEasy.com.
Hey everybody, I'm Christopher Green. You're tuning into AMTV, and there was a very interesting article yesterday that I was reading. Not that it told us anything that we don't already know, but it did get you kind of thinking, forward thinking, about the revolution in money that is currently taking place. And it starts with its first sentence, the title of this article, A Revolution in Money, asking you to imagine that it's 2040, and imagine that you're using digital currency. Competing digital currencies, of which some currency you could even be issuing yourself. In fact, AMTV could have its own currency. You could have your own currency. And there could be dozens and dozens of competing currencies in a capitalist market, or maybe even a not-so-capitalist market that you use for different goods, different services, and different types of things. And it just brings back the concept of what is money. Why does it hold value? Why do the American people, and many people around the world, millions of people, believe that this here has value, not worth the paper that it's printed on? And here we have George Washington, the first president of the United States, who, by the way, had the opportunity to become a king but decided not to, kind of unlike what we have here in the United States today with the current administration and the criminal politics that has overrun Washington, very much akin to the pre-collapse of the Roman Empire, really any empire for that reason. But why do people value this dollar? Why does it have worth? How and why is it able to be used as a medium of exchange? Again, just a piece of paper, a note, not backed by anything, not backed by gold or silver or even the integrity of its algorithm. Of course, we have competing digital currencies, Bitcoin, which has taken the lead and has also been under aggressive attack. In my opinion, only warning it and giving it and providing more evidence that this is a legitimate threat to the Federal Reserve System. This is a legitimate threat to this right here, which has been controlled by foreign bankers for much too long and have honestly pulled the wool over the eyes of millions of people and conned, much like Bernie Madoff did, millions of people that this has value when it really doesn't. Structurally, inherently, it is backed by nothing. In fact, Bitcoin, although not backed by gold or silver or something like that, is still backed by the integrity of its algorithm. So Bitcoin is even backed by more than what this is here. But again, the article goes on, and I encourage you to read it, talks about the revolution of money and how you'll be able to walk into a supermarket in the future and you won't even have to check out because you'll be chipped. You'll have a chip on your bracelet, on your watch, or maybe even impregnated in your brain. The mark of the beast. And you'll be able to put these goods and services into your cart, and you'll simply be able to walk out of the store and it'll automatically calculate and deduct the amount, the value of the digital currency that you're using for that particular store, which could be a proprietary currency of that store at that time in the future, and everything will be a seamless situation and environment, really transforming the idea, concept, and very use of money. Or is it? Or really, is it changing anything? We're still using currency. We're still using whether or not it's a physical dollar bill, not worth the paper it's printed on, or it's digital currency, or it's some kind of other competitor. Is it still not acting as a medium of exchange because we believe it to have value? And it's very interesting because, when you compare the US dollar or even Bitcoin to a commodity, for example, whether or not that's oil or natural gas or it's gold or silver, these things actually have real use, real tangible value. I mean, take a look at gold here on CNBC.com. You can see that the metal future says that gold's worth $1,290 an ounce. That's what it's really worth. If you were to melt it down, and let's say the world came to an end, not only would it be worth this, the market, the supply and demand, although it's been artificially suppressed by the Federal Reserve along with silver for some time now and other precious metals, At the very least, it can be melted down. It can be created and turned into jewelry that maybe your wife, girlfriend, or significant other might like to wear. And, silver, for example, has all kinds of uses for semiconductors and the technology field. And a lot of the chips that are in the devices that you're probably watching through your handheld smartphone, PC, Apple, or whatever device you might be using has real tangible use, versus this really has none. Again, you might want to wipe your butt with it because it's not worth the paper that it's printed on. But here we have a revolution in digital currency. We have Bitcoin, for example, which has been under attack, and I'm sure there's been even some legitimate fraud with it. Been used, even though it's a small percentage, in the black market. And I'm sure people are taking advantage of Bitcoin and the loopholes which still exist in digital currency and need to be fixed in the immediate future to give it some kind of protection, to give it sustainability so that it would be used or adopted and adapted by the mainstream. But you see, this is not going to be adapted or adopted by the mainstream, by the masses willingly, because the Federal Reserve has a stranglehold on this currency. The Federal Reserve and foreign bankers, these criminals that, by the way, have never been elected, and the officials at the Federal Reserve are not elected, they are selected, really kind of like the President of the United States. It's all a facade. But in the case of the Federal Reserve, literally these people that have more power in a small circle in a room have more power than anyone else on the planet, and impact not just the price of currency and exchange rates, but also the prices of commodities that directly translate into the price of food and natural resources and goods and services that just common people around the world, whether or not you're a small child in Africa or you're an adult here in the United States of America, need to use to survive. So when does this become mainstream? When does this become the transformative moment where the masses move and push to use digital currency? Whether or not it is Bitcoin or it's Litecoin, or maybe it's even AMTV coin or numerous other examples. When will this have validity? When will it have the stamp of approval? And in my opinion, and I've told this behind closed doors with some of my friends and family and my inner intellectual circle, when this becomes mainstream, it will become mainstream because a giant corporation, a company like Google, for example, gives it the stamp of approval. Now, remember we read about Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox having lost, millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of Bitcoins, having to shut down. There's even been people that have allegedly committed suicide. We don't know whether or not they've been murdered or they committed suicide. But what if Google was get into the market of currency exchange? What if they were to create their own exchange? Would that not immediately send the price of Bitcoin or maybe even Google coin? They could just use their own proprietary digital coin backed by their algorithm, which pretty much is the economy today, one of the largest trading market cap stocks on the market exchanges today. That would give the stamp of approval needed to legitimize this currency. But again, this will not be given up willingly by the Federal Reserve. And keep in mind, companies like Google that could literally send Bitcoin into the stratosphere are also heavily connected, heavily pressured, at the very least, and have been threatened by agencies ranging from the NSA and the underworld that exists within the federal government today, intertwined with the government and big tech. But this is where I see it all going. Again, this article really not telling us a whole lot that we don't already know. But again, a very striking, overreaching, just kind of bold point that I wanted to make today is that this currency will really take off when a Google or a Google type of company creates the exchange, and they themselves will give it the validity and stamp of approval that it needs, something that people can trust. And of course, at that point, it'll probably be too late to invest or speculate just on the value of the coins, because they will be literally shot through the stratosphere once a Google or a company similar to it gives it the stamp of approval and creates its own exchange. And again, they might just bypass Bitcoin entirely and just create their own coin, call it the G coin, the Google coin. Who knows? Also in the news, people asking the question, when will stocks end this rapid bull market, this artificial reality of stimulus and 0% interest rates. And I saw an interesting article where they were talking about is a 1987 type market crash 37 days away. And again, I think personally we would be lucky to have a 1987 type market crash, because the market crash that's coming will be much more violent, significant in dollar value in real terms than anything that I think we have ever seen before. Not because just of the pressure of the artificial stimulus and the environment that has currently been engineered and manufactured criminally by the Federal Reserve, again to support this which is worth nothing, not worth the paper it's printed on, but not to mention also the revolution in money and the pressure coming from outside competition, which I think is fantastic, whether or not it's Bitcoin or a soon-to-be minted Google coin, all pressuring the Federal Reserve, this dollar, this idea of exchange and monetary value, all of it is changing. And it's truly not just a revolution of currency, but also a revolution of the mind. I would like to hear your thoughts, questions, comments. Put it in the description box below. As always, I'm Christopher Green, hard-hitting in your face. Please share this video everywhere, make it viral, and click the link below to support our sponsor.